Well, we're going to get started with our program. We do like to start on time and finish on time. We'll have some more conversation at the end of this, but we do host this Lunch and Learn every Wednesday. It's really for new people who want to be a part of the solution, and we know that Shackley Corporation as a whole and products do provide a solution in so many issues and topics that we are dealing with today. And so with that, I'm going to share my screen with the PowerPoint, and we'll get started. Okay. All right, well, again, welcome everyone. We're so glad you're here, and we hope that you can see this PowerPoint, everybody. Can you see it?
You're good. Okay,
terrific. So with that, we'll go forward with the next slide. Oh, by the way, we said the heading was Coronavirus Survival Guide, and it actually was on self-care. I think in order to survive, we really need self-care today, in addition to all the things that they're telling us to do. So today we're going to discuss self-care, and we're going to share this little video clip. And why is he frozen? There we go.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes in our life, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Me, we all are strong. I'll be afraid. I'll help you carry on. It won't be long till I'm gone. Somebody to heal. So just go on, brother. People be okay. We all need somebody to leave. We are strong. I'll help you carry on. It won't be long till I'm gone. Somebody to lean on.
These are two doctors from the Mayo Clinic that, and if you haven't seen it, they're all on YouTube. Let me get to the next slide. And his name is Elvis. He is Elvis for sure. And it's amazing how they are contributing not only with their skill, but also with their heart and music. We thought about the Coronavirus Survival Guide, and I heard about this and read it, but doesn't it feel like Groundhog Day? We're trying to mix it up, make a few changes, because be it ever so humble, there's no place like home until you start getting antsy, of course, and feeling like every day is Groundhog Day. So with this, on Wednesday, we like to move it around so that we give you different topics and tips to give a try. For me, I live in a beautiful environment, and so I got in the car and took a wonderful drive down Skyline Drive. Our town posted a 30 ideas for shaking it up a little bit and doing some fun things that we could do, and they said go to Piedmont Lifestyle, where you can do outdoor finding summer fun. So you can Google and search around where you can find new parks in your area. I know my daughter Bridget recently found a new park that she really enjoyed walking in and taking her dog for a walk. Or you could get started on genealogy research. Has anybody tried that? Sue Ann didn't think that was such a great idea. Take up an old hobby or start a new one. I'm continuing and being more devoted with one of my hobbies, which is horseback riding. So what are you doing to shake it up a little bit, to inspire yourself, especially when you're feeling like it's Groundhog Day? Here's another interesting, Dr. Lee has a great message for us.
I am having a solitary walk on the beach in the era of COVID-19. Very important to stay active, but be active by yourself. And so you can have social distancing. You can see here, not many people on the beach. There are a few people, and have to be very careful not to have anybody lean along or be friendly. And I encourage everybody to stay active, stay positive, take command of your health. What you do is going to affect me, affect everybody else in this country. Do the right thing. Be safe.
Sorry. Susie said it was hard to hear, but his message is appropriate. You know, be safe. We all have to be careful. And he has written a great book and has a great message. And he talks about medicine as food, food as medicine. And we have a wonderful person, Jennifer Cancio, here who's sharing a wonderful food that isn't medicine, doesn't need to be medicine, but it certainly makes us healthy. So Jennifer, you want to share your smoothie of the week?
Sure, thank you. You know, one of my little self-care rituals is a very slow cup of coffee. Doesn't have to be a big one. It just has to be that 20 minutes or 30 minutes in the morning that I just honor to just slowly set my intention for my day with my cup of coffee. Ironically, this smoothie is the result of my love for coffee, but also being in the rush in the morning sometimes, having to drive my daughter to school. So this is my coffee lover's smoothie. Having a life shake every day is really a non-negotiable for me. It just sets the tone for my day, and it's easy and nutritious. So in this smoothie, I use a cafe latte flavor. I really like it. And so I put a cup of coffee and crushed ice and 2 scoops of the cafe latte life shake. That would be like your basic if you want like a frappuccino without all the sugar and lots of protein. I like to add a frozen banana just to make it a little more thicker and shake-like, and just to get that extra potassium because of all the exercise that I end up doing in my day. And then I add a fiber plan powder in there. I always put fiber in my smoothies because it's good for you and you don't taste it. And I've been known to throw spinach in that one, but I didn't want to gross anyone out today. So you can if you want to, I won't tell anyone. And then I blend it. And if you don't like the thought of putting a banana in there, it actually goes really nice with the cafe latte flavor. If you don't like putting a banana in there, you can just put more ice and make it like a cold frappuccino. I live in Florida, so this is one of my go-tos in the morning when I'm in a rush and can't enjoy that slow cup of coffee.
Certainly looks yummy. And I know you use a lot of coconut flakes. Any reason why you use the coconut flakes besides the texture?
Yeah, I get kind of bored drinking stuff all the time, so I need some crunch. It's just for my jaws and my teeth. So I'm a big fan of blended foods because it's fast and easy, but sometimes I need something to chew on. Sometimes I might throw, like I found some paleo gluten-free oats, the paleo muesli, and I'll just like put a handful in there for some fiber. It's mainly texture to feel like I'm eating something, since I don't always have time to eat in the morning in my pre-COVID days.
That's great. And you're going to provide another recipe next week, which is kind of a food-based recipe. So I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's move along to Pam Budner. Pam, you want to share some of the other tips that we need to know about today?
Okay, so we're all getting really good at washing your hands, right? So if you don't know how to do it, go to the cdc.gov and or Google how to wash your hands right now, because hand washing has become really, 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 really important. I know I am washing my hands more than ever before. And one thing I'm really happy about, and it's, you all know that you sing happy birthday twice through. Don't skip. You have to go all the way through, and not at a fast tempo, not too fast. And you've got to get, your fingers, you've got to get in between your fingers like this. And then you've got to do your nails by doing your nails across the the inner palm of your hand below your thumb, and then you do the back side of your hands. I'm sure people who are been in the medical fields on this call, like Sue Holdren and Gary, washing your hands like this is probably something you were trained to do very early on in your training. And now we're all doing it too. It's quite amazing. And one thing that's great, if you use our hand wash, you will not have dry hands. And I just have learned how to love this product at a whole new level. It's, unfortunately, you can only buy 5 at a time right now. It has a limit on it, so it's 5 units per customer per month. And I just had a friend who I told her about it. I saw her order come through with 5 units, so I know that is being enforced. But it has all these good things in it, like wheat germ oil and algae, and that kind of gives you moisture, and it's got some soy protein for conditioner. And then aloe, marshmallow, and linden flower. And I thought, linden flower, I thought that was a tea. So earlier on, I Googled linden flower and I learned that it relieves itchy skin. So it's not just a tea that you drink for your throat, which is more typically known about linden flower, but it also relieves itchy skin. And I learned that marshmallow promotes skin health as well. And rosemary and arnica, those are very, very healing, energizing herbs. So it's really like going into your garden and picking a bouquet of things and having this botanical stuff on your hands. So right now there is a limit on it. The item code is 00191. And I always like to get a little dispenser to go with it. There's a hand wash dispenser that has some pretty graphics on it, and that's item code 50408. And if you like a pump, you can also get a pump for it. And if you do those 3 things, it's also a fabulous gift for somebody. It's under $25 member net to get a quart of hand wash, a dispenser, and a pump. And what a lovely gift to give someone right now. It's just so special. So
And that
I do love that
lasts
product.
forever. I mean,
Pardon?
the quart lasts forever.
It does.
It's so
It does.
concentrated that it's really something to try if you haven't tried it. And thank you for that a huge tip of the linden flower. That is an aha moment for me.
And
Thank
also, Joanne, let me just mention this. When you get down to the very bottom of that quart, what you can do is just start filling it with water. If you take baths, you can throw it in your bathtub, and it makes a great bubble bath.
Thank you very much. Now we're going to turn the slide over to David Swain. David brought this up at one of our last Wednesday calls, and it was really informative, and I had forgotten about it. So David, you want to share a little bit about the pH?
Sure, no problem. Actually, I wanted to also toss in one thing. As Pam was explaining the hand washing thing a while ago, I thought to myself, if you want to be really thorough, you could pull out your best Marilyn Monroe impression doing Happy Birthday, Mr. President. It takes up Pam got that. It would go a little bit slower and you'd be a little bit more thorough in doing the washing.
That's right. Oh, and David, I have to add, and maybe you'll add it on. I forgot to mention that hand wash is pH balanced, and you're going to tell us why that's important.
Yes. So first we're going to talk about pH, what that is, and then why we are concerned about that in this particular situation. So pH, normally it's actually done with a lowercase p and an uppercase h, and the H is for hydrogen. And this has to do specifically with things that are dissolved in water. So it's water solutions that we're looking at here. And water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen, but they are not immutably bound to one another as other things are dissolved in water, and water is this kind of universal solvent or almost universal solvent that tends to knock some of the hydrogens out or some of the oxygens out of the water equation and makes them free radicals. When the hydrogen is knocked out, it goes just as its nucleus without the electron that's spinning around it. So it's a positive ion. When the oxygen goes out, it's a negative ion. Okay. So the idea of pH is that it's a measure, and it's on a scale from 1 to 14 of the hydrogen potential, or the hydrogen power, some people will say, or the hydrogen capacity within that solution. And the scale is not a linear scale. It's actually a logarithmic scale, if that makes sense to anyone. It's a base 10 logarithm, which means that pure water, which is a neutral pH, therefore it's in the middle of the scale, it's a 7, whereas water that's being used with typical hand soap, which is very alkaline, so at the high end of the scale, things are alkaline or basic, as a chemist would say, or caustic is another thing you might say with that, whereas the lower end of the scale is acid. So the typical hand soap is actually about a pH of 10 rather than 7. Now that doesn't mean that it's...
I don't mean to interrupt, but
Sure.
isn't it true though, the pH of our skin? What's the pH level of our skin?
It's slightly acid. It's
Okay,
about 6.5, somewhere in that neighborhood.
6.5 or 7, I've heard. So I guess what what I understood about pH balance was that anything we put on our skin, ideally you want as close to the pH level that our skin is, correct?
Yes. Yeah, because if you make something that's much more alkaline, then it's going to basically neutralize that layer. It's going to remove that layer and make it ineffective. Now, the whole idea behind that, our blood actually is a little bit slightly alkaline. It's 7.4 or so. And things that want to invade us, because our skin is porous, literally it's full of pores. So we have all kinds of doorways for things to get in, bacteria, viruses, and whatever. But the ones that want to get in are things that like to be in that slightly alkaline state. On the other hand, it doesn't like that acid layer that our skin puts out, that we have evolved to generate, to discourage them from coming in.
So what I understood you saying now is that the skin is our first defense
Absolutely.
against viruses getting into our body. And
Yeah.
I think I also heard the fact that cracked skin is dangerous because that is where the viruses or things can come into our bodies, correct?
Well, yeah, cracks are just more doorways, but we already have plenty of doorways on the skin, the pores that we have everywhere, and the hair follicles and all that kind of stuff. So it is true that we also want to be able to repair the cracks that are there, or not let them form in the first place by the skin becoming too dry.
Great, and that's a great statement to lead us into the next
There you
slide.
go.
Thank you, David.
Sure.
Yes.
So, Susie.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so important, this pH balance. Well, this hand and body lotion, I cannot say enough about this product. One of the things that I really like, you can see on there, it says a botanical prebiotic. So that helps strengthen the skin. So it's a natural protective system, which is exactly what we need right now. It's also like a sustained release. It stays on for 6 hours and it doesn't feel like it piles up. When I go in for a manicure or pedicure, I bring this because this cream they put on is just like this thick wad, and it always has these big fragrances. So I love this. And the prebiotic in this, and the Shackley, whenever they combine things, they do it for a scientific reason. So it's very healing. And I've spoken before about, my dad having, an injury on his skin. None of the nurses and doctors could heal it. He used this, and for him, it worked. In 3 days, it was healed. This is also really helpful on itchy skin. So washing with that hand and body lotion, and then this. And
So this is called Enfusel Hand and Body Lotion, and as Susie, we're going to move along, so we're running a little behind here, but it's a natural protection. So with the pH level, using the hand wash protects your pH level from your skin getting too dry. And the Infusel hand and body lotion as an added protection. For those of you that are new and don't know these products, that's the purpose between the hand, going from the hand wash to the hand and body lotion. And there's
Exactly.
another protective moisturizer. Would you just share a little bit here, please?
Yeah, this is just like going to the spa, and especially while we're home, you're talking about self-care. You want to really pamper yourself, and this is just very creamy, nice. It also goes right into your skin. It's extracted from botanicals, so it hydrates you. It's for your hand and body, and it just feels very luxurious.
And vitamin E, and we all know how vitamin E nourishes the skin. So thank you, Susie. Let's move along now to hair care. These are lengthy, so that's why we kind of wanted to move along, Susie. So thank you so much. Maria, would you share a little bit about Prasante for health and lustrous hair?
Oh, I love that description. Thank you. Actually, you know, when I first started with Jacqueline, nobody said to me that if you use our products, you're going to feel better and your hair is going to look better. I just took them because I knew they need them. But within a couple of months, my sister asked me, she said, "Did you get a perm?" And I said, "No." She said, "Well, your hair looks thicker." And that's what I've noticed in using these products. The shampoo is a wonderful, thorough cleaner. However, as we've been talking about pH, it does not remove the natural pH protection that we have. It also does not dry out our hair. So it keeps it moist and gets it thoroughly clean. And I don't know if you have ever heard, you probably have, that a lot of hairdressers will tell you to change brands from time to time because shampoos and conditioners leave a film on your hair. Not so with these products, which is really, really wonderful. The conditioner actually repairs when the hair split ends and the ends of the hair. It protects the shaft of the hair. But both of these, the shampoo and the conditioner, have nutrients in them and proteins that are all natural and nature-based that actually protect the hair. But my favorite product, I have to say, is the scalp treatment. I use that pretty faithfully, and I would honestly say, probably twice the amount of hair today that I did when I was half my age. Because back then was the days of Cher, and I wanted long hair that looked like hers, and it never did. It was just long and stringy. But that scalp treatment is superb. And having worked in corporate office in New York City, sometimes when it rains, the rain comes in sideways. And with that finishing spray, it's kind of like a medium hold. I can just let my hair dry out naturally when I'm in the office and was in the office. And you can still run your fingers through it. It's not sticky like so many hairsprays are. But I have to say, it was a very happy surprise that using these products was going to actually increase the thickness and the health of my hair. So I never get flyaways or all the things that I used to have, I don't have anymore. And that picture was of someone after 6 months of using our Prasante skincare line, which I think is most impressive.
And it says it's an untouched photo taken by a person that it was her son. So that is interesting. And I've heard the same thing from a number of people who have had their scalp and their hair be improved by the products. And the Prasante, the other nice thing is it's not in an aerosol. It's a pump versus an aerosol. So thank you, Maria. It's a great product line to try. Again, the nature-based for all of us. So Ann Repine, let's hear from you. You might have to unmute yourself, though. You there? Okay, Sue Ann Repine is going to discuss the Meadow Blend bar, and until she gets on, I'll share some information, and any of the other speakers can kind of jump in. It is pH balanced, and as David said, you know, the pH balance is critical for our health. So a lot of the caustic cleaners and caustic chemicals that are sold, what we will do, and she was going to have a pH test paper available to show you. You can test all of the products in your home with a pH test paper. And actually, David has a whole bunch available if anybody wants one, or you can get it through Amazon as well. But it's soap-free, and it's French milled, which means it's very hard milled, so it's like 6 bars in 1 bar. And we have vitamin E and wheat germ oil, and it's ideal for those sensitive skin, and it lasts forever. I especially like it now. I do have the hand wash in a pump dispenser in my shower, and when I enter my house, I come in through the garage, and I have a basement sink that I have there, and I go right into the basement sink, and I like to have my Meadow Blend bar there, and it lasts forever as well, and it creates a nice lather. And then we have our Shaklee Infusel sunscreen, which is also, it absorbs quickly. I don't like sunscreen, so I'm really happy that Shaklee has this because it does absorb quickly and it doesn't sit on the skin. It's water resistant, which is good for me because I love to jump in the water, and so that it stays on and I don't have to constantly replenish it. It has vitamins and botanicals in it and has broad spectrum protection. So these are 2 products that we felt were needed in self-care. So our topics are in handling self-care: good hand wash that doesn't upset your pH balance, great protection in moisturizers that have wonderful botanicals and ingredients that repair and care for the skin. Sun protection is critical for everyone. And Pam, would you share some of the other items that we think people can benefit in self-care with our fabulous Shaklee products?
Sure. So this is a time I find that it's a great time. First of all, it's spring, which here in New England is so welcome after months and months of cold, damp weather. But it's also a time, given the pandemic that we're all living within right now, is to upgrade your self-care, to really think about the products that you use and consume on a daily basis, and upgrade yourself. Do a mask, do a spa treatment, soak your feet, have a bath, take a longer shower, do some meditation. All this is part of helping you to create a nice place within your own self to live in the world that we're living in right now. And when you do that for yourself, you're also giving a gift to the other people around you that are counting on you to take care of them, counting on you for their friendship and their love. So this is just so important. So some of the things I'll flip through this list quickly. Some of you may know these products, some of you may be new to this, but one of the best things about the personal care line that we have is that they're all orderable online. So you can get all these things, your bar soap, your shower gel, your hair products, your deodorant, sunscreens, and lotions, all delivered to your door safely. So you can just check that whole category off your shopping list when you go out. That's one of the best benefits right now. So we talked about the bar soap, the liquid soap. We also have a wonderful shower gel. Again, self-care, ratchet up your self-care with a nice shower gel. The Infusel is wonderful. I nearly cried one day because I have a gal and she hasn't been here now for over 2 months. And somehow I keep my shower gel by my bathtub, and somehow when she was cleaning it, the cap became loose, and the entire contents of a brand new tube of shower gel, David's laughing, went into my bathtub. I think I could have taken like a dozen baths before it ran away, but make sure you just turn that top cap tight. Then we have an exfoliating scrub, refining polisher, and Maria talked about our shampoos and conditioners, and that scalp treatment is my favorite product. It's fabulous. And we have our hand and body. The other things that we didn't mention specifically, foot cream. If you ever have used a foot cream, we have something called Herbal Blend Multi-Purpose Cream. And years ago, Dr. Shaklee had it in a jar, and it was called foot cream. But so many of us use it for so many other things. Carolyn calls it itchy boo-boo cream. Anytime you have an itch or a boo-boo or a bee sting or a mosquito bite or a rash or any kind of irritation on your skin, that herbal blend multi-purpose cream is a must. It's one of those things that you just have to have in your medicine cabinet.
You know, Pam, I think in the coming Wednesdays, we're going to do a healthy tool chest, kind of like instead of a medicine chest, we're going to have a healthy tool chest of the things that we all keep in our repertoire to protect us in all different areas. I have one, which I'm not going to say today, which really made a big difference in having the certain product around. Okay, with that, thanks, Pam. You know, it's interesting. I love bubble baths, so that doesn't sound like too much of a heartache for me to have it all leak into the tub. So, but I'd like to have Carolyn now share a little bit about many of us on this call today are proven people that have proved the products work because we love them so much. But Carolyn, you want to just share this topic about why we're all here, a lot of us?
Sure, Joanne. And I, as everyone was talking, I had 3 little quick side notes that I had to add to these great stories. One of them is when Jennifer was talking about doing the smoothie and putting in spinach. Well, I don't always have fresh vegetables, but the Shaklee product that's called Greens is fabulous because you can just put a little scoopful that's the equivalent of like a whole cupful of organic greens. And so it's a quick way for lazy people who don't necessarily have the veggies. And one of the things I discovered when I add the greens to every shake that I do, even I did cafe latte yesterday also, is if I put cinnamon in, it almost takes away it still looks green, but it doesn't taste green. And it sort of removes that, you know, the thought of, oh my gosh, I've got spinach in my coffee. It seemed to take care of the taste. So anyway, that was just one of the things that I thought I would just add. The other thing is when we're talking about living at home and doing things, Jennifer is a Pilates instructor, and I had an appointment today with a Pilates instructor. And of course you do it on Zoom. And in order to do that, I had to get the dog bed and put a towel on it and to try to arrange, you know, where the Zoom is going to be so that I can not only get around doors and stuff like that, but what happens in the middle of my Pilates, but the dog came over. So we have a golden retriever who comes and is right in the middle of the Zoom screen saying hello to my Pilates instructor while I am there in the middle of exercising. So I just thought I would throw those in as, you know, like, how do we live through the virus issues? Just real life things. But this discussion about our business model, I have such a newfound passion for understanding the value of being able to benefit financially. I am not motivated by money. I'm not motivated at all by money, but I'm very motivated by poverty. I'm very motivated by not having money and what happens to us in our lives as we are constrained financially. And you know, that affects our spirit and our soul and our kids and our family and our sleeping and all of the things that are going on so dramatically now. And so when I look at this and think about, well, what does that have to do with all these wonderful products? What I think it has to do with is, in order for us to be able to live with the vitality that we're born with and to be the people that we want to be, money has got to be managed. It has to be a piece of the component, whether we like it or not. And so what this slide says to me is, what if being able to provide solutions for people in terms of our products and in terms of our lifestyle and in terms of having itchy skin or not dry hands or all the other wonderful benefits of just this small part of the product line, what if we could also use the power of telling our story to other people who can benefit from the same thing? And what if that can be a way that we can also earn some extra income? Whether it is to pay for our products, which is, you know, hey, I want to support my habit. I want to be able to buy shea butter, which is like so elegantly rich. And maybe we can do that by saying, what if we share the benefits of the things that we're using with enough people so we can actually make some money at it? Or maybe it is saying, as many of us have on this call, many of us have said, my commitment was, if I'm not part of the solution, I'm part of the problem. And I see so many things out there that we can contribute to, that I chose to make this a business, a profession. And as a result of that, look at the hundreds, thousands of people we've been able to impact with the mission that we represent with these products. So to me, it's just like a very holistic thing that isn't like, oh, I don't want to talk about money. The reality is that's what's causing a lot of the challenges now, is how do we deal with our economy when we've got a health issue? So money is really a part of it, whether we like it or not. And so I'd like to say, you know, what if we can create an income doing something that is holistic and in integrity and really supports and contributes to other people? So that's what our business is. And if there's anything in there that's of interest to people, we invite you to talk to whoever invited you and see how this might apply to your life. So thanks.
Thank you, Carolyn. You know, it is all about self-care. I think it is a part of self-care, being a single woman, and actually I got into Shackley to make $50 a week extra. That was my big reason of entering it. I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to protect our environment. I so believe in really protecting Mother Earth, and we'll be covering things. We did a great job on Earth Day, but we'll continue to spread the word and the message of with like-minded people who want to be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem. And that's really what we stand for, is to be of service primarily to the problems and the needs of friends and people that we get to meet on a regular basis. So thank you. That was very well said. Everybody, thank you so much. This is a team and a collaboration with a lot of people to put this together on Wednesday. It takes a couple of meetings of us saying, well, should we talk about this? Should we talk about that? You know, what's important to people today? We want to discuss timely topics on immunity and health on our Lunch and Learn Wellness series. So we ask people to grab their lunch and join us in the comfort of our home. I had my salad. I actually had a salad today before we started, but I usually have my Vitalizer, my Vivix and a drink, and my strip. And I saw my wonderful assistant having her shake there and drinking it. She needs it with a mother of two and a full-time business at home. She's going to see the benefits that protein shake can give her. So we want to help people to make sense of the changes and choices that we're all being faced with today. So it's every Wednesday. We start with the meet and greet, and we're going to open it up in a few minutes after we close out the PowerPoint for you to meet and greet again. It was nice to hear that Sarah was a special ed teacher. It's dear to my heart. So we like to hear the stories of what you're doing. Most people don't do Shackley full time, or they get involved and they have their other things going on. Some of us have been full time for a long time. So you can invite new people to hear about our wonderful products on the Lunch and Learn series. And the event starts at 1. We like to finish at 1:45 and then open it up for conversation. Then for anybody who has an interest in wanting to look to make some extra money on a part-time basis, want a side hustle or a side endeavor that can bring in some income stream to put, pay the dentist bill or any other things. We do a Thursday night program. One night on Thursday is the Skill Up to Build Up series, which is helping people create some momentum for themselves. And then the alternate Thursday is the Real Stories for Health and Income. So that's every Thursday. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye to the PowerPoint that we're using, and we'll just stop and share any comments. I love the linden flower or whatever it is, on how Shaklee really provides that stop the itchy skin, which can happen in dry weather. So just a minute. All right, here we go. All right, hi everybody. Thank you. Any comments, or anybody want to share what other
Joanne?
profession?
Yeah, Joanne.
Yes, Gary.
There was one usage when they talked about the what Dr. Shaklee, his cream that they used to do in a jar. We were introduced to that through one of the meetings at Donna's house, and the title of it, which I went looking for in the catalog, was called the Foot, Face, and Fanny Cream. And I never found it.
That's right. All right. How's the weather, Sue Holdren, and where you are? What's the temp?
104.
Make me warm. I'll just think of 104.
104 at 10 minutes of 11. And one of the things I've been thinking about a little bit as you were talking about all these different things for personal care and self-care, etc., is don't forget about drinking water.
Yeah.
The water is what's going to help to prevent those little cracks in your skin. It's going to maintain that pH level so that your body can put that little acid mantle out. And there's so much that requires that level of water to be in our system.
Hydration, that's an excellent point, and excellent point, because we need to put the carafe up. We'll be discussing other products and items for self-care and health, but the water carafe is just so critical. And I also had read that you need to keep the lining of your lungs and all moist, that it's important not to get dry. Of course, we don't want to be, when you go out and you have to go into a store, if you have to go into a store, you just want to make sure that you have your mask, or you want to make sure that you work on whatever we need to do to keep ourselves as healthy as possible. I, for one, am taking more supplements than I've taken in a while, and, just fisting it. Because I said to my kids, I said, I really don't want to have to deal with the recovery of anything like that. I mean, that's just not something I even want to think about.
Joanne.
Yeah?
It's Gary. One of the things that I learned for some of my health situations that got better, the flavonoids are key Flavomax is key for internal mucous membrane, nose, mouth, gut, the whole bit. So add that.
That's good to know. I think what we're going to do, unless someone wants to share a story or do a little dance, sing a little song, we'll call it a Wednesday. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Keep on sharing.